The United Nations push for net zero has plunged us all into poverty. Global restrictions on oil drilling mean that the Saudi-led OPEC cartel now controls 52% of the market. This synthetic stranglehold on oil supply by one of the world's most intolerant regimes means every country in the West scrabbling around desperately trying to meet its energy needs, throwing vast amounts of taxpayers' money at the problem just to keep their nation's lights switched on, to prevent its transport infrastructure from grinding to a halt and its citizens from freezing to death over the winter. These undemocratically imposed net zero restrictions were put into action regardless of the fact that no viable alternatives were in place. The world pushed ahead with oil restrictions based on a platform of lies about the efficacy of renewable energy and nuclear power. And now rapidly spiralling inflation and relentless tax rises necessary to meet the Western world's energy needs are precipitating the most severe economic depression since before the Second World War. Many people are already incurring significant debt in keeping a roof over their heads and feeding their families, despite working long hours in full-time jobs. A vast, demoralising chunk of their paycheck is being snatched from them as income tax and national insurance contributions to prop up an NHS that in reality barely functions anymore and is almost inaccessible. The UK is now a country where doctors don't want to give a diagnosis, hospitals don't want to commit to treatment, waiting lists are interminable, and businesses everywhere have to struggle with the cost and disruption of avoidable long-term illness in their employees. Meanwhile, woefully and unforgivably ignorant white middle-class eco-activists, many of whom have been the beneficiaries of a privileged public school education and yet apparently have learnt nothing and gained nothing from it, continue to block this country's roads, stopping people from getting to work and to hospital appointments that they've probably been waiting over a year for, vandalised much-loved works of art and car showrooms and barged their way into the House of Commons, disrupting parliamentary business with absolutely no idea about the struggles decent, hard-working people are facing on a daily basis just to stay afloat in a world plunged into turmoil by unelected politicians based on doom-mongering prophecies about climate catastrophe. And the tragedy is our new Prime Minister is fully signed up to this nonsense, already trying to work out ways to punish us all further with stealth taxes. Buckle up everyone, it's going to be a long, hard, cold winter.